Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the No Laying Up podcast. My name is DJ. We got a fun one tonight for you guys. I don't know if we're going to do 2 hours on the Sanderson Farms necessarily, but we're going to get to that. We're going to talk about that. Stephen Fisk and his two-shot win there. And then we've got a lot of other stuff to get to. This might end up feeling a little bit more like a trap draw chop session. And I think for that reason, I've got the perfect crew here. TC, just giddy with the agenda that he's put together tonight.
I've been weirdly locked in all week. I've been at home, been just trying to get the base all riled up on the Don Reese stuff. I think I've succeeded. And I don't know how plugged in Randy's been though, which is good.
Of course, he will be the third chair tonight. Big Randy, fresh off of a trip to the great state of Wisconsin. But we got to play a little golf together this week. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about other trips Big has taken to our beautiful state, practically a resident at this point now. Randy, how are you, my man?
I'm good. Yeah, I got another trip coming to Wisconsin this weekend. It is crazy. I'm rotten with trips to Wisconsin. It is great to get there. We had a good time earlier this week. Listen, I think TC watched the most golf. So if you're here for like the hardcore Sanderson breakdown, that's TC. That's not me. I can't give that to you. So I'm looking to pick my spots elsewhere, and I think there are a few that I can get involved.
Well, we are going to talk about the world of golf. Like I said, we're going to talk about the Sanderson. We're going to talk about the Dunhill, talk a little Corn Ferry, a little LPGA, and then I think we're going to talk Sand Valley. Randy, you took a big capital B, capital T buddies trip to Sand Valley recently. And kind of got us thinking we hadn't really done a lot on the podcast about Sand Valley and kind of all the things that have coalesced there since a lot of people's last visits. And since we rolled out a couple videos from there. And so it's a good week to do that, especially dropping our par 3 championship video that yours truly was depantsed in recently. So we can talk about that. And then we got a lot of just Ryder Cup loose ends that we're going to get to. A lot of people tweeting stuff, a lot of people writing stuff, a lot of people posting on LinkedIn. It's just going to be a lot to get to, which we'll get to in the second half. But before we get there, I'm not sure if any of you listening played golf this weekend. Pretty ideal weather for most of the country. Up here in Wisconsin, it was an absolute joke the past week, just 76 and sunny. We know that's not going to last forever. TC is going to have lovely playing conditions all year round. But for many of us, the season starts to become a bit more unpredictable this time of year. Golf, you got to find the right golf gear, and you can extend the season, make every day playable with our friends at Footjoy. Only Footjoy creates the shoes, gloves, apparel, and outerwear to play comfortably in any conditions. They just added the fall collection to the website, so there's so much new stuff for men and women. New Premier Series, new Traditions, one of my favorites, new Hyperflex shoes, new Thermo Series. TC, I think you're rolling with the Thermo Series right now.
Yeah, I got the hybrid vest on right now, and it's been really miserable here. Actually, the last 10 days, just been raining, just onshore. We had that hurricane offshore, kind of churning stuff up in the Atlantic. So we've had winds coming off the ocean for the last week plus. And I got the new Dry Joys Select LX rain jacket, which perfect for these kind of fall shoulder seasons.
Randy, you've been playing all kinds of golf. What's been the footwear of choice for you?
Yeah, I will shout these. I try to shout these out, honestly, anytime we do a Footjoy ad. The Quantums are so comfortable. A great walking shoe. We walked in Wisconsin. I actually played earlier this morning as part of our Roost. We got an event going on there. Walked 18 holes. My feet, they truly are have struggled with other shoes with comfort, but the Quantums are awesome. So if you're looking for a good walking shoe, I would definitely point people that direction.
And if you're looking to get beyond shoes, like I said, new shirts, new pants, new mid layers, hoodies, all kinds of different stuff, everything you need to play golf, no matter where you live. So don't give up yet. There's plenty of golf still to be played. Go get decked out. Footjoy.com to check out all the new fall arrivals. Guys, mentioned this off the top. Stephen Fisk, your winner at the Sanderson Farms. PGA Tour rookie, wins in his 24th start, shoots a final round 64 to win by 2, birdie the last 3 holes. Had a hell of a back nine in that 64. I would be lying if I said I knew a ton about Stephen Fisk coming in. TC, anything you could shed light on?
Georgia Southern guy, and I think he's from up north of Atlanta. His parents owned a par 3 in a driving range.
I was going to ask you, have you ever been to Rum Creek Golf Course?
I haven't. You know what it sounds like? It sounds like Don Ray.
I
he
know.
owns a driving range.
Augusta something.
Yeah. Augusta Ranch, I think.
Augusta Ranch. That's right. Yeah. You know what? I was poking around for something. I was on the Rum Creek Golf Course website, just like trying to learn a little bit about this place. It seems like his parents still own it. Please correct me if I'm wrong about that, but just looks like a true grow the game factory out there. A little par 3 course, driving range, giving lessons, having events, junior programs. It was a fun little, like, not an academy kid, not a anything like that. Just like seems like he came from just a very cool story, and happy for Stephen Fisk on his way.
28 years old. He's grinded a few years on Korn Ferry Tour. I think he did a season on PGA Tour Canada. You know, he was a really good college player, but not a sure thing by any stretch. So I always like those kind of late bloomers who just incrementally improve year after year, and congrats to him.
TC, do you know, I'm on the Georgia Southern website when he was here. They list his hometown as Stockbridge, Georgia, and his high school is Dutchtown. Do any of those ring a bell to you?
Stockbridge does. I'm not familiar with Dutchtown, though.
Okay.
And then your next visit back to the homeland.
Yeah. You know, like, weirdly, I watched a lot of this tournament yesterday and today, and a couple like weird rulings in there. Garrick Higo, or was it Higo, and Eric Cole had
touching balls in the bunker there, I think.
Yeah. And then Lasasso got pinched for the amateur, who's the odds-on favorite to be like the new Patrick Reed on tour. In true Patrick Reed fashion, he got pinched for, what was it, Rule 8-1A?
Yeah, I think so.
Which is, you can't improve your lie. So I'm told they got him on that with the ShotLink tower cams, and that was strange. Danny Walker, Randy, made a record-breaking number of putts.
This is incredible.
I had this in my notes as well. TC, 451 feet of putts in the first 3 rounds. Most feet of putts made through 3 rounds in the ShotLink era. Randy, over the first 3 rounds, made 8 putts from outside 25 feet. That's so many.
That's you never know when you're going to get a good, feats made of putt week. Just a random Sanderson. That's awesome.
That's why you got to watch every event.
Make a bigger deal of that.
Yeah. You never know when you're going to be witnessing history. TC had a couple other notes. I didn't realize Doc Redman had not played a PGA Tour event since 2023. Monday qualified in, went 75-65. Make the cut on the number. Love that.
He's not a medical professional.
That's right.
Was
there confusion about that this week, or just a general?
I think so. I just got to remind people he's not a medical professional.
Real quick on Danny Walker. Sorry, because the PGA Tour now has this in their stats package. Round 4, he made 64 feet 6 inches of putts.
Yeah, 0 putts outside 25 feet.
I don't know how that stacks up over 4 rounds. But
I'll tell you who didn't make a lot of putts, I think, outside of about 5 feet, Michael Thorbjornsen. Like one of the craziest ball striking, putting, or just general short game total disparities I've ever seen. He gained 4 shots off the tee for the week, 5.5 shots approaching the greens. He was 4th and 5th in those categories. He lost almost 3 around the green, and he lost almost 4 putting.
That's tough.
Finished T29 with, basically dead last in the field in both of those things. So,
what do you guys think? I wish there was a way amateurs could track feet of putts made.
I think you probably can.
Yeah, I need you getting the notes app
manual.
Big.
I know.
Step it off each one.
What if I just had a tape measure or like a laser system? Real quick, guys, before I putt, just in case this goes in, I got to shoot it.
Or you just keep the mark down, and then if you make it, you go back.
That's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good idea.
TC, we've kind of gotten to the point of the season, not season, zombie season, FedEx Cup fall. It counts. You can improve your ranking, but not if you were in the top 50. Just all these kinds of, we're kind of into procedural SZN, I would say, which if you're into that kind of thing, it's as always fun to watch these. And if you're not, enjoy watching football, enjoy playing in the leaves, do whatever you'd like to do this time of year. Any other big picture thoughts on kind of the fall or this event, or where is this event sticking around? What is the future of this event?
I think this event's going away. I think this was the last one. So apologies to everybody who's a big fan of the Chicken Championship. I believe Wayne Sanderson. I wasn't familiar with Wayne particularly. I was familiar with Sanderson Farms, but not Wayne in particular.
It's not about
They will not be sponsoring this next year, and I just can't imagine that the Jackson, Mississippi fits in with Brian Rolap's vision of a global sports property.
Yeah, which is
nothing against Jackson, Mississippi, because
exactly.
I like this course. It's a good host venue. Like it's a proper course. I mean, Stephen Fisk, proper player. He just can't really putt normally, and he putted this week.
Yeah.
So
I think this event is it's a weird one. It's kind of a little bit of a home of some harsh truths, probably. And it's like Randy got me. This is a weird connection, but Randy got me a book when I saw him this week. And Randy, I started reading it. It's very thoughtful. And it's basically about the kind of decimation of minor league baseball. And in 2022, when MLB went from like 140 MLB or minor league teams to 120, and what happened to those other 20 cities. And I'm only 50 pages in or whatever, but it's kind of the whole idea is, as much as these things just kind of look like a line on a spreadsheet, it's also kind of taken away the opportunity that kids have to see future major leaguers and a night out at the ballpark that's affordable and all of those things. And so it's just hard not to feel exactly the same way about some of these PGA Tour events, where I'm like, man, should they exist in the vision of a big, bright PGA Tour future? Like, probably not. But are there people there that love it and probably get a ton out of it and all the charity aspects of it? And like, yeah, definitely. And so I think those two things, I certainly won't pretend to have the right answer, but it does, I don't know, it just kind of ties you into knots at least a little bit. I feel like it's kind of how I always feel watching these events.
I don't think that's unfair at all. I think that's probably pretty spot on. Actually, Pat Battle, the guy that rolled up a lot of those things, is a big Augusta guy. A lot of those minor league tournaments. I mean, what's the solution? Does the Corn Ferry Tour get bigger and more wide ranging? I also find it a little bit outrageous that the mini tour, like that like the one big mini tour is in Canada and Latin America.
Yeah, I totally feel the same way. That was going to be my, with 6 seconds of thought here, is like shooting from the hip. It's almost like, how do you, is there a big difference if you are in Jackson, Mississippi, between seeing Garrick Higo and seeing somebody who's good enough to play on, the equivalent of PGA Tour Canada, PGA Tour Latin America? Probably not, and so, I don't know if you can just get a little bit more of a grassroots American tour kind of under the PGA Tour flag. That's still not the Corn Ferry Tour. I don't know. I'm kind of grasping at stuff here, but it's, I get it. It's a business and they need to figure out what works, but it's just I don't know. You can feel a lot less focus group of one here. You can just feel a lot less energy about these types of events. I feel like than even you felt 7-8 years ago. And
when everything was equal.
Yeah. And that, I mean, again, that's probably the right call, but it does just kind of stink for the people and places that are involved. So weird tangent there. I wasn't expecting to go down the road.
Oh, good. I think it's kind of the tour being ripped at the seams and probably should have happened a long time ago, and they kept it together for as long as they could. But for as valuable as it is, for a market like this, I think it also does a disservice to some of the bigger events on tour to pretend like everything is the same.
No, for sure. Absolutely. Well, moving down the line, on the Corn Ferry Tour, your guy, ADDC, TC, just an absolute clinic.
They're not done yet. He's on 18 right now. He's going to shoot 61, 61, 64, looks like 65 or minus 33 for a 7 or 8 shot win over Marty Dow. So just I think this is what the prophecy foretold. It's just been
Get him on the
delayed
team.
a little bit. Get him on the team. Get him on the team is right. He started 26th on the points list this week, up to 6th with the win. So get him on the team. Got some other guys jockeying to get in that. I think it's top 75. Get into next week, the Corn Ferry Tour Championship. And then, so James Nicholas went from 78th to 62nd. What else? We got Dylan Wu jumped up. He's had kind of a controversial year. Cole Hammer jumped into the top 75 as well. So some topsy-turviness there. But yeah, it just doesn't seem like all that serious of a golf course. The Patriot Golf Club in Owasso, Oklahoma. Randy, are you familiar?
I'm not, but I need to be. From one Patriot to another, I need to.
How many birdies do you think you've made this year, Randy?
Well, I can tell you exactly. 37, I believe.
All right. Adrian Dumont
Art
has made 32 birdies this week.
This week.
He's playing easier golf courses than Randy, though. Like, that's the hard part.
I've made 36. He's got a bit more tools in the toolkit than I do, I feel like.
Yeah, Randy's played proper golf courses, though. I think that's
actually he's just made those 32 birdies and 2 eagles in the last 4 days. I imagine he made more in the pro-am and the practice rounds and all of that as well. So
what a heady thought. Speaking of which, Davis Chatfield shot 59 down at the Patriot. Happy for all the 59 celebrators. And I feel like whenever we're on this podcast, we're like, man, 59s don't seem like they really mean anything anymore. A lot of pushback, people just celebrating in the streets. So I hope everybody really got the picnic tables out for that one.
59 and finished minus 20 T15.
Do people really do they get on you when you?
I just remember when it was, God, I feel horrible. This is going to prove my exact point.
That's right.
The guy who shot 59 at John Deere, Hayden Springer, shot 59 at John Deere a couple years ago. And I remember we had a little bit of a, like, is this a thing? Remember when they used to break into coverage and like people stop at the office? And I mean, it was just like the biggest deal ever. And yeah, I just remember getting a weird amount of pushback on, just like this is the most impressive thing ever, and you're totally given short shrift. Which, like, listen, you still got to get the ball in the hole. Like, it's super impressive. Yeah. It's just not as fun anymore, I think, was my larger point. But
yeah,
anyways,
I think that's
TC. Speaking of the Ryder Cup, speaking of get them on the team, when you're playing like an event or something, and you make a birdie and you got to validate it on the next hole for it to really count. That's what your guy Big Shot Bob just did at the Dunhill. Just, was it shortened to 54 holes? Yes, not his fault. Saturday weather
awful.
Absolute washout over there in Scotland. But Big Shot Bob prevails. Ryder Cup teammates playing well. That had to fill up the heart.
It did. 66, 66, 66.
Wow.
And we'll give him an honorary 66 for the round that was canceled. Finished up on the old course today. Just a proper winner for the Dunhill Links over at Carnoustie and Kingsbarns and in the old. I'm trying to forget from my memory that Bob was slagging off the road hole. Was that last year or 2 years ago?
Last year. So it should be blown up. So it's just not a good hole from the back tee.
So
and
tough.
He bogeyed it today as well.
Hated that. He finished 4 ahead of Tyrrell, 5 ahead of John Perry and the great man Richard Sterney. And we had Jacob Scott Olesen, Christopher Rytan, Brooks played. I think this is one of Brooks's favorite events of the year. Tom McKibben played. Matt Fitzpatrick turned up. Tommy turned up. They both finished T21. Just props to them for showing up this week, bleary-eyed after the celebration, after that long bus ride, singing all the songs, and they rocked up and they got it done.
And your guy Rasmus played well in Mississippi too. We didn't even mention that, but Only other note from the Dunhill, in a note, in a harbinger of perhaps things to come. We had a shot of Yasser out on social media. He always plays in the Dunhill, up on the stage, just singing, not necessarily karaoke, but very much kind of a background singer in what looked like some sort of gala or post-round cocktail party or something, singing Sweet Caroline. I know, Randy, that's one of your favorites, but a lot of just a lot of leading men in karaoke this week, which we're gonna get to. Randy,
He was up there with Johann Rupert.
is that who was up there too?
Yeah, they're just trying to bring everything back together. Also, I did want to call out that Harrison Crow won the pro-am portion. He was the pro. He won with JP McManus's son-in-law. Harrison Crow finished -4, and as a team, they finished 33 under.
Oof. Whoa. It's tough to beat.
So potentially a bandit there.
That was just a career week. Just couldn't stop, couldn't stop filling it up.
Can you imagine though if it was a career week?
He's playing off a +8. Just just couldn't stop making birdies. Well, congratulations to them. Harrison Crow, it sounds like kind of another one for our professional golfer or country music star game, round 2 of that one.
He could be Trace Crow's brother.
Exactly. Randy, what happened on the LPGA?
The LPGA, they were in Hawaii. They were on Oahu, the Latte Championship. Guys. Lotte.
There's like 6 companies in Korea. Lotte's
26 different winner this year in 25 events. We had another new winner on the LPGA. She wasn't even a member of the LPGA. It's Yu-Min Hwang. She is Korean. She got a sponsor invite. She plays her golf on the Korean LPGA. She won by 1 shot over Hyuju Kim. And props to Hwang. She birdied the last 4 holes and 5 out of her last 6 holes to win by 1 shot. So with the win, she gets the choice. She can either accept full LPGA membership immediately. There's like a deferral where I think she would start her quote unquote rookie year next year, or she can choose to stay in Korea if that's what she wishes. But
parity is out of control
to her. It sucks. Like, it truly sucks. It was like fun for a little, and now we're just like, this isn't it. So other big names, Nelly Korda was over here. She finished tied for 4th at 14 under, 3 shots back. The EY twins were involved. Akie finished in that tied for 4th group. Nasa Hataoka was tied for 8th. Where did Chisato EY? Oh, she
T14.
T14, yeah.
71 on the weekend.
Top 10. So yeah, they're now that they're kind of using Hawaii as a midway point. The LPGA now goes over to Asia for their 2nd Asia swing of the year before finishing back in Florida in November. So
I'm fascinated to see what Craig Kessler does with the schedule too.
I feel like I'm asking you kind of an impossible question here, Big, but anything you can chalk up the parity to? Is this like just a freak storm? Is this someone's injured who would be hoovering up tournaments? Is this someone can't like, I don't know. Like I said, is there anything glaring, I guess, or what's your best guess?
Yeah, I think it's just like everything, all of it, all. I mean, I think you start with Nelly. Like, for Nelly not to have won a tournament this year is shocking, right? After winning 7 times last year. So we can start with Nelly. Obviously, we can point some fingers at the other top players in the world for not getting it done more than once. One thing I want to ask Craig, Tron, we've talked about this on podcasts, is just how they go about setting the golf course up and how that perhaps just allows for truly kind of anybody to win week to week. It doesn't seem to really favor one type of player necessarily.
Or identify the most talented player.
Right. Like, how it goes about identifying the best player that week, it just seems very arbitrary maybe. I don't know. I would love for Craig or somebody that can kind of speak more knowledgeably on that. But yeah, Deej, I think it's probably just like insane coincidence too. It's like it's all of those things.
Yeah. TC, in your neck of the woods, last kind of check in here. Your guy Tommy Two Gloves Gainey wins at Timuquana Country Club. Furyk and friends. He was a Monday qualifier. Now has his, kind of his status locked up on the Champions Tour, PGA Tour Champions, I should say. It says in my notes here that TC watched, quote, a concerning amount of this event. Just need to know what your takeaways were.
Yeah, Solly and I were out there on Thursday, just kind of wandering around, trying to get some quotes from some guys for
Beat the
podcast
bushes.
we're working on. Yeah. Adam Schupak was talking to Stuart Sink about some Ryder Cup stuff that we'll get to. Weather was pretty not good over there, pretty windy all week. Watched a lot of it. Like, it's really interesting to watch these guys like out on the range and just like what the differentiator is out on the senior tour. Yeah. And like Matt Gogol looked like he was going to run away with this thing on Saturday and then bottled it today. And Duval was playing well, Randy. I mean, he
practically a home game.
Like, I mean, basically a home game. Yeah, grew up there. And it, like, I've played that course enough to Timuquana. It's a classic Donald Ross design with, a lot of short grass around the greens and some great par fives that really make these guys push their chips in. And so it was just really interesting. It was just good. It was John Katrick and Peter Jacobson. I was just locked in. I was watching college football on one screen and the Champions Tour on the other screen, and I couldn't turn it off. It's fascinating. So Gainey, I mean, glad his fortunes have turned around here in Florida. Last time he was on Operation Santa's naughty list. Now he's on Operation Santa's nice list. Monday and what a place to do it too. Furyk was the one who was getting chirpy about, guys who haven't played the tour for 20 to 25 years, who didn't win at least 3 times. How, the Champions Tour is really not for them. Well, Tommy Gainey, kind of a late bloomer, kicked the door down. He's in the boys club now. So.
I love it. Good for him. Yeah. Well, listen, we're going to get to a lot of other stuff. TC, I'm going to turn the ship over to you here in a minute. But first, I want to give a shout out to our friends at the Stack System. Randy, this is a strange place to start, but you and I played a lot of golf together this week, and I just straight up, my speed was down. And that's because I have not been stacking this summer as much. I did a lot last winter. My speed went through the roof, and I think I bought into, I'm going to cruise now. I'm a different person. I'm just gonna enjoy this. I didn't maintain. It's a classic mistake. I'm out there neck and neck with you with the driver. That's just never something
you were so pissed.
You never something you want to see. Yeah, no. And so it's like it was a good wake up call that I needed. That like we said at the beginning, the weather's gonna turn here. It's gonna be time to get back in the garage and start getting that speed back up, and we'll not make the same mistake next year. So if this sounds like you, or if you sound like you want to be in the second part of this conversation, blowing the ball past Randy, visit www.stacksystem.com/NLU. Use code no laying up. Get yourself a little bit off. And yeah, enjoy some hashtag gains out there. TC, we have a lot to get to here, my man. So you tell me, it's your ship. Where do you want to take this thing?
Couple more loose ends to tie off. I want to shout out the U.S. Women's Mid-Am going to MPCC, Monterey Peninsula Country Club.
Looks like some scenes out there, just delightful scenes.
Absolute scenes.
Yeah. Proper venue.
Can I ask you a question? Sorry, super quick. Again, sorry if this is a bad setup and you guys have no idea, but for all the hornet's nest that we stepped in around the men's mid-am about reinstated AMs, is that a problem on the women's side, I wonder?
Well, I was looking at it earlier. Brooke Say, from little Brooke from Stanford, she's in the mix. I don't know if she ever turned pro or not.
She might. Yeah. I wonder if she officially ever did turn pro.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then, because I was thinking of that earlier, Deej, because Catherine Zhu as well. I know she turned pro very briefly, but then was reinstated as well. It doesn't seem like it's as big of an issue on that side of things. So,
Yeah.
We need
but hey,
Marina
correct
Alex
us if
can
we're wrong.
test that out.
Yeah,
We need
exactly.
Marina to get her amateur status.
That's right. I agree.
It's a great-
Anyways,
yeah.
sorry. Continue.
Well, anyway, and then Wagger changes a foot. They didn't even send out really an announcement. It was very under the radar. So we'll see. They're evaluating the world amateur golf rankings. Manipulators are on notice. It's a big
Beware.
problem. It's a big problem.
Party's over,
So,
guys. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest with you, TC. I was trying to read this release, and I just realized how broken my brain was because I was reading this after I read all the Don Ray stuff, and I was catching up on Yasser singing karaoke, and I'm just trying to read like a very serious release from the R&A about the World Amateur Golf Rankings. I'm like, I don't care about this. Like, let me go. Like, let's get back to that Mickelson tweet about Lou Holtz. Can we talk about that? You know, it's just I'm glad there's serious people doing important stuff, but it's it's just it's weird how few and far between some of those stories feel at times.
Well, lastly, before we get to the serious people doing serious stuff, we can, there was a Live 2024 financial statements came out. They're losing a lot of money. I don't think we need to really belabor it. You can read the financials.
The only thing I would belabor is that, again, many people have pointed this out, but worth mentioning, this is only their events outside of the United States. So they're losing like almost $500 million in the past year just on the events outside the United States, which is what, half of them, maybe. So
more than half.
Yeah. I mean, listen, maybe they're making $1 billion on the US based ones. I know that. Yeah, that's certainly the claim that many people would try to pull over on you, but yeah, just an obscene amount of money going out the door on some of these last 3 seasons.
It's amazing, and I think the only other thing to like quickly add, like they're one of their primary revenue sources on that side of it is just the courses paying host fees to them to be able to
in like cities like
yeah, either exactly
New
either
Orleans
the city
or the state,
which is like, oh god.
It's a lot
unbelievable.
Like
just light it on fire.
Puts a lot of pressure on the beer and t-shirt sales, I think.
Yeah. Which the cliques, I saw something this week of Keimer saying that they don't have the money to do signing bonuses or anything like that, but they've got some guys that are interested. So true small market team.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, TC, you need a hell of a pitching lab if that's how you're going to run things. One injury, man, and you're toast.
or a guy just stinks like Frederick Ketterup. But where do you guys want to start with the Ryder Cup? Lots to cover down on. You guys were kind of off the grid the first.
Yeah, I want to ease into it, TC. I don't want to go to the main course yet. So I want to start with this tweet from Phil Mickelson. And I want to say up front that I largely agree with what he's getting at here, but I will stop at the end. Quote, "Here's why looking outside of golf to a Coach K or Lou Holtz is worth exploring." This is, of course, in reference to the Ryder Cup. "Golf is an individual sport that doesn't have teamwork, support system, partnership, team analytics, personality traits, and more. Europeans have a template that teaches and prepares their captains for these skills. The U.S. has a new template every 2 years with little continuity." I agree with all of that, except for I would say 2 words, which he's going to use again. If Coach K or Lou Holtz or someone similar took over, would it be built upon or would it be scrapped again and started over afterwards? If that's the case, it would be a waste of time and an effort not worth doing to begin with. Lou Holtz is 88 years old. I don't think he's coaching the U.S. Ryder Cup.
He clarified that though. He said someone like Lou Holtz.
Okay, well that's good. That's good because that was just jarring to read kind of over the morning coffee the other day. But I do think the sentiment of what he's getting at, I stand with, and I like the idea of having someone who's good at organizing.
Why is Lou Holtz on the tip of his tongue? Like, why can't we at least say like Nick Saban now? Like Lou Holtz, his last national title was 1988. Like,
I'm not even sure Lou Holtz was a good coach.
Right, and there's that too. But yeah,
I mean, Randy, we were kind of saying this a while back, as early as I think 21 or 22 of just hey, like why aren't we bringing in Toto Wolff to run a team, or Kyle Shanahan or Sean McVay or Nick Sirianni?
Theo
Something like
Epstein.
that. Theo
Honestly,
Epstein.
Theo.
like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
the SSG guy should, redirect
Yeah.
him.
Man, I didn't even think
Um,
about Theo. And we talked about this a lot during Ryder Cup week, but SSG investment capital, and maybe the Ryder Cup gets spun off and Theo's working on golf stuff now. Maybe that's the ultimate play. I love that. Ryder Cup czar.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the Red Sox, the Cubs, and then the US
Pitch
Ryder
clock.
Cup team winning in Europe? Like, that's the best resume that there
That's
is.
true. God, I would not have seen that coming.
But TC, to your point, like we have, and we always said it jokingly, but I truly do think you saw it with USA Basketball, right? Creating kind of a person that sits atop and can be a high level decision maker to really direct the program, if you will, in certain directions. I feel like the Ryder Cup is screaming for something like that.
Well, I think it is, but I don't think that the PGA of America has ears,
Right.
and
And
can hear that, because I
and
like
they're
and then even if they did have ears and could hear that, I don't think that they're capable of actually enacting change and anything like that. I mean, it's just like they're disconnected from. I think if I'm a U.S. player, I'm like I think we've beat up on these guys a lot for some of the money stuff or whatever. But I think if they're really pissed, make it more about governance and what your like PGA of America. What's your standing these days? You have no standing in the pro game, and you certainly don't know how to do operations and logistics, and like you're just wholly unserious. And we have no connection to your organization at this point.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I used to bag on the USGA for this a little bit, and I think the USGA has gotten a lot better in the last couple years about how, as a handicap carrying golfer in the United States, I'm like, man, I still, other than the U.S. Open and the U.S. Women's Open and a couple other amateur events, like I don't have a good sense of what the USGA is doing. And I know, with the rollback stuff, for better or worse, depending on how you feel about that, that's a very clear point of where their impact on the game is being felt. But I think even they've gotten better at the storytelling around some of the agronomy stuff and some of the ways that they're trying to make the game more sustainable, and all of that is a big setup to say I don't get that same sense from the PGA of America. I know roughly it's like, yeah, you kind of support the PGA members and the club professionals, but
They're not even doing that.
I don't hear from a lot of them that are loving what you guys are doing there. So it's like, I'm kind of left with a little bit of, it just feels rudderless from it seems like the people at the top are having a hell of a time. It seems like a real great honor in the game, but it just strikes me as this organization that feels like it's stuck in like 1995 and this day when like the golf pro was the pillar of the community, and we're just going to kind of ride the fumes of that, and we'll kind of elect some new officers every couple years and go on these big trips, and everybody will kind of pat you on the back for growing the game. It seems like PJ Junior League is like an example of something.
I was going to say that's the one thing.
Great. Yeah.
I have had nephews involved in that, and I realize that's probably, like, depending on where you are and the clubs and the pros that are putting effort into that. But I know a lot of people that have had really good experiences with the PGA Junior League.
I think the sections are, I think the majority of the sections are probably doing a really good job too. Like at the local level, the PGA seems to be functioning as intended, largely on the back of the club pros and the assistant club pros on the local level. It just seems wildly disconnected from the national level, and they have some outright goons and cartoon characters representing them on the national stage. And I don't know. Like, I mean, yeah, like so ratings were down this year. We've got, I mean, I got 25 different things on the list here. I've got this guy, not really PGA related, but I did want to just make light of this. This is from the New York Times or The Athletic. There was a man, Crescenzo Stasi, a 38-year-old of Westbury, New York, stole a golf club or a golf cart at the Ryder Cup on Saturday, and it sounded like that was maybe the least of their concerns on Saturday.
They may have
Based on
diverted
everything.
some security over to the McElroy group by that point. Well, going back to like the actual captain conversation a little bit. I know some of the Total Wolves and things like that are a little bit tongue in cheek, but like who's your pick, Randy? Who's your guy right now?
Just because I know he's a golf freak and he's already involved at the tour level would be, honestly, it'd be Theo probably. If you're looking for somebody that has a true history of building organizational success, right? Kind of turning organizations around, implementing processes. I can't give you a detailed accounting of like, this is exactly what he did when he was in Chicago or Boston, but I trust him. Like I would, Theo, just go in, you're the Ryder Cup czar, and give him kind of carte blanche and give him some resources. And I trust that he, at the other end of it, we're going to have a process and a team and a way to select like everything's going to just at least make a lot more sense than it would now.
Randy, they had these specialty cocktails out there in the hospitality tents that they put squeaky rubber ducks in.
This became quite a thing. I think that was Saturday, wasn't it? It was Saturday or Sunday, I can't remember. But yeah, there was. I think they had to stop play a couple times because people were squeaking the ducks so much. That was.
I mean,
I'm surprised that didn't make our Sunday show. That was good stuff.
Unserious this thing has become.
Yeah,
the PGA of America has never mind. Like I thought Brendan DeYoung had a great thing this week on the 5 Club show of just he was saying like just think about the makeup of your team that you've got JJ Spawn and Harris English and Russell Henley, like guys that play really well on really, really difficult golf courses.
Scotty Scheffler.
And you set it up to be like a fucking pitch and putt.
Yeah.
The antithesis of what Bethpage Black is all about.
The setup
so funny.
The setup stuff, yeah, makes you madder and madder the more you think about it, which again is kind of like I don't know. I would love to I think it's very easy to blame Keegan for that stuff, and ultimately, as he said in the press conference, like he should take the blame for that in the current setup. But it's like, how is there not some sort of infrastructure around of serious adults who stops that from happening? And that's to your point, Randy. It's like, yeah, I don't think Theo Epstein necessarily even has to be the captain, but can he, can someone like that be involved with picking the captain and setting up a system for the captain and making sure that it's not somebody who's also trying to qualify for the team and also trying to win majors and also trying to win $20 million in prize money that is like realistically available to him. So I don't know. TC, where do you fall on the Stuart Sink stuff? Because you mentioned it earlier. Adam Schupak wrote a story for Golf Week where Stuart Sink kind of laid out that he had an interview with John Wood, and I think maybe we're trying to make John Wood this person, this kind of Ryder Cup whisperer, and then you kind of never really heard anything else from him. So I don't know what happened behind the scenes there, but the point of that was Stuart Sink basically felt like he had an interview, like a phone interview, to be potentially the Ryder Cup captain. Thought it went really well, got a lot of positive feedback on the way out of that call, and then just never heard anything from anybody. And his wife eventually told him when they were in Scotland that, I guess Keegan's the captain. So I don't know if you had any thoughts on that, or he seemed like he was, in a humble way lobbying to be the next captain. I know he's been involved as an assistant captain. So a long way of setting up. Any broader Stuart Sink thoughts?
No, other than, Stuart was out there this week. Like he like there were a lot of guys in the locker room this week mad as hell in the Tim Quanah locker room. We're like, do you believe that shit? That was a joke, man. And I think some of those guys are probably mad as hell about a lot of things.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Are we still mad though? What are we still mad about?
Meanwhile, you got Kevin Kisner responding to one of Jamie Kennedy's tweets about just examples of Luke Donald getting in on the details, and Kisner said, "Weird, we did all the same things, but we don't go advertising it." Like, no, Kevin, it doesn't seem like you did any of those things.
Scotty didn't even. Yeah, they didn't even have the right guys playing odds and evens, man. I don't know if they necessarily had the the betting correctly.
So I think to Stuart Sink, I think Stuart Sink would be a good captain. I think he's like a guy that's like reinvented himself, reinvented his career, really thoughtful guy. Like I like Stuart Sink. I think at the very least, why is he not in the team room? Or if he's someone that you're looking at to be a potential captain, why don't you have him as an assistant captain at least? And then it sounds like one of the PGA, board members or national members just went rogue on the John Wood stuff, and they're paying him a couple $100,000 a year, and nobody else really okayed it or said, hey, you know what, John Wood is our guy that's gonna, kind of organize all of this and get everybody aligned. And so it just seems like a total lack of alignment on everything. I mean, even Keegan, right? Like just that was just like, oh, hey, let's throw some shit at the wall and see what sticks. And now I imagine they're probably going to do the same thing with Tiger.
Yeah, it feels like Europe is running things as if it's like a company or a team or something rational, and it seems like the US is running things as if it was a movie made in 1985. They're like, man, it'd be fucking rad. What if this guy was the captain? And then he inspired him, and then they just just led him to victory. Like, that would be sick. That'd be such a sick movie. And that's what, to your point, TC, it's like the Tiger thing. I could see one way or the other, where it's like if Tiger was fully, this is my only thing, I still think he would be good at this because he does have I shouldn't say he'd be good at this. I don't know if he'd be good at this or not, but I think
he doesn't want to do any of the captain stuff though.
I don't know if he wants to do any of the
that's
captain
where I'm
stuff.
like,
I think he wants to do the tactical stuff, I would imagine. I think he would geek out on the analytics and who's playing with who, and we need to have this guy, and we're doing this for team building. And I mean, I think I'm projecting, but I think he would be into that stuff, and obviously has the gravitas. And I don't know if that means he sucks up all the oxygen in the room, or if that means he makes everybody feel like they're 15 feet tall. I have no idea how that would go. But again, it's like without all the support staff stuff and without taking all the things that Tiger doesn't want to do off of his plate, that I don't think it's going to be the same result, I would imagine.
Does it seem a little bit like the Europeans have almost taken this to such a serious, they're just such seriousness and great preparation that to a point where like the Americans just don't care that much.
Totally.
Hey, what? Like, we're not going to like come over there like 2 weeks early.
Well, that's what I almost,
hang out.
I was talking to Randy about it this week a little bit. And I think what's the sense that I get is I do think the Americans care. Like, I think that they care in the same way, and I think they get to a point where it's like, all right, 2 weeks before the event, man, I'm ready. This is 100% my focus. This is all I'm thinking about. And I am trying hard in the practice round, and I am learning the course, and I am doing all, like, I think I
don't even know if they're doing that stuff.
They
didn't even play that many practice rounds.
That's a whole other thing that came out this week. They maybe only played 9 and 9 and then a couple holes. That's tough. But anyways, it's just
make any putts.
It's just not the same level. New level, new devil, potentially. So yeah, I don't know. I think that let's just fucking get to it. I think that leads us to the LinkedIn TC. A lot of talk about the crowds at Bethpage. A lot of talk about some things being yelled at players and the general mood and the lack of the PGA of America's response to it. Potentially even the PGA of America egging some of it on, many people were saying, with all of the, oh my God, 4 years of this is going to be so crazy. This is going to be so crazy. That led our guy, Don Ray, president of the PGA of America, to take to LinkedIn and say, quote, couple thoughts. This is my...
Just let that sit.
A couple thoughts, period. This is my profile, not the PGA's. That being said, thank you to all who have reached out to me as a friend and golf industry leader. I'm personally taking some criticism right now, and that comes with the role. Just like when I was an umpire, I expect it. Don Ray, for those that don't know, was a minor league umpire for a long time before this.
Maybe they got rid of his role because there's so many fewer.
They're moving
minor
to
league teams.
That's true. Exactly. They're moving to ABS.
And then the robo umps are coming now.
That's right. However, to the students and PGA members that follow me, know this: I am not bothered. I know who I ultimately serve. When I wrote this sermon 3 years ago, I meant it, and today I am living it. The truth is still the truth. New level, new devil, bicep emoji, praying emoji, USA flag emoji, and it seems like a link to a sermon that he gave a couple years ago. TC, I'm embarrassed to say there's been stretches of the last few days where I haven't been thinking about new level, new devil. And then it just, when I do think about it again, it just wallops me. It just knocks me off my tracks. I just think that's going to be with us forever. I don't know that that's ever going away. Randy, did this hit you as hard as it hit me?
Oh, I mean, TC just delighting in it this week. New level, new devil. Of course, it's iconic. It's truly the new more money, more problems. I mean, that's what it is.
And he was deleting replies and comments on LinkedIn as well. People coming after him on his LinkedIn. Hate that. So just to take you guys through the week, we had the Tom Watson apology tweet. That was on September 29th.
That's a great man.
Yeah. I'd like to congratulate Ryder Cup Europe on their victory. Your team play the first few days was sensational. More importantly, I'd like to apologize for the rude and mean-spirited behavior from our American crowd at Bethpage. As a former player, captain, and as an American, I am ashamed of what happened. So we had that. We had Heather McMahon getting tossed under the bus. He went on her podcast and said,
this was, for those that don't know, this was the first TMC who, quote, stepped down from her role in disgrace after leading, I think in a moment of quick spontaneity, a fuck you Rory chant that was not well received from our friends across the pond for good reason. Sorry. So she also hosts a podcast, and I think we went off.
She just said, "Hey, they didn't tell me what they wanted me to do. These crowds were rudderless." My mom texted me today. She said that
this is your mom, or this is Heather still talking about her?
No, mom. My mom texted me today. She said
Peg Schuster, a great woman.
Heather McMahon is a member at Atlanta Athletic Club, and they're voting this week on whether to kick her and her husband out of the club.
No, that's too far.
I can't get down with that.
What are we doing?
Yeah,
we can't cancel. She's a comedian.
No.
Yeah.
What else? We had Brentley Romine suggested that Keegan should captain the team in Ireland.
I think in a moment of weakness, I that thought crossed my mind as well, and I was like, man, I think he's gonna learn some hard truths from this. I think he's gonna have some experience. I think there's something to be said about continuity. I think there's something to be said about not just like throwing somebody, like feeding someone into the lion's den, going over and captaining an away one.
Earn this to begin with.
But then I'm like, well, also he's just gonna do nothing but like play. Not nothing, but I mean, he's going to just play competitive golf for the next 2 years, which he should, because he's one of the 15 best players in the world. So as long as that's the case, which was kind of what your guy Kitchen Sink was saying, it was like, man, I'm 52, like I am not doing anything else. I think he had a quote in that
show up wherever you want.
If you want me to go to every PGA Tour event, I'll do it. And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about, man. That's what we're looking for. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I saw Brentley's tweet as well, and I in a moment of weakness, I felt the same. But then I think my cooler heads might have prevailed.
So then, I don't know. Everybody's livid. McEwen and Bunkered, they had their column, some stuff on their website calling for Don to resign, and then Eamon had just a scorching column. I mean, it was incredible.
Thrust of Eamon's piece, if you didn't read it, which you should go read it on golfweek.com, was just unserious organization, and this thing needs new. I believe the kicker was like this, at this horrid restaurant, the best thing you can do is hang a under new management sign in the window. And I think he was saying a lot of the same stuff. SSG, please step in. PGA of America, use this windfall to, improve the lives and, working standards of your members, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, go read that piece. That's a flamethrower from Eamon.
Jeff Shackelford wrote, the game has dealt with carnival barkers and military grade all world schmendricks before, but Don Reed may be unlike anything golf has ever seen.
I've never heard the word schmendrick before, by the way.
I guess he wanted the lead job when Sprague got it. I mean, let's not forget that Sprague, the CEO, who's nowhere to be found during all of this until what, Monday or Tuesday night, he hops on Golf Central or you know, hops on with Rex Hoggard on Golf Channel, and very reactive. Just, hey, you know what, we reacted. Not like, what was your plan, man? You didn't have a plan. You didn't have, like, this. Just, and everything we've heard from vendors, fans, players, everything we've heard was like, these guys are they're not prepared for this, and they're just lashing out at anybody who tries to tell them that, and it's just not a serious organization. And they ended up, I think the guy from Ridgewood, his name's escaping me, Derek Reasoner, was supposed to get the job, and they took so long announcing, or David, yeah, they spent so long on this search that he pulled his name out, and then they were going to announce the guy from Kiowa as the next CEO, and there was going to be a full-scale revolt, and they heard so much criticism from their ranks that they ended up just pivoting to Derek Sprague. He was like the GM at TPC Sawgrass, and now he's running one of the biggest organizations in all of golf. So then we got the Don Ray video that, so we had the LinkedIn thing, and then he blocked me on Twitter or X. And then we got the Don Ray video that dropped of him, just basically saying, like, I didn't hear any of this stuff. Like, it wasn't bad out there. You would hear this at a kid's soccer game.
And he dropped a when we're in Rome, they do the same thing over there, which just is like categorically not the case.
Yeah.
This is from Tom Kershaw of the Times of London. Somehow this has only been retweeted 42 times. I think it's the story of the year. Exclusive, all caps, : under fire, PGA of America president sang karaoke, (lose yourself) by Eminem in the dining area of hotel for players, families, and guests on Saturday night, hours after Rory McIlroy and his wife Erica were subjected to vile abuse at the Ryder Cup. Now, guys, two things I think that stand out from this. One, the framing that I don't know, like, he should have been out with the task force beating up these fans that were yelling, but instead he was singing karaoke or something like that. That whole framing is both I think a little unfair to our guy Don, but also very, 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 very funny. And two, I think just pales in comparison to the humor of singing "Lose Yourself" by Eminem in the Players Hotel. I don't know if we've seen anything like this. I saw someone in the Instagram comments called him D Rabbit, which I thought was was kind of an all-timer.
Auntie Faldo tweeted performing Stan wearing the Michael Block Raw hat.
Oh God.
I mean, do we think Don Ray's like flow is that good? Is he hitting all the how good of a performance do you think this was?
Can you imagine just a hotel full of just tired people buzzing at the end of a Ryder Cup day and
getting their asses kicked?
Yeah, guys out there singing "Lose Yourself." That's I think people talk about, seeing the Beatles at Shea Stadium or in Hamburg, or how cool would that be to go back to this moment in time. I think I would. This is up there on the list of, like, if you could just put me in this room for 5 minutes,
parachute in.
I just want to be there for 5 minutes and just experience what that was like. I don't know if I could handle much more than 5 minutes, but man, that's just a good stuff there.
Well, and I have were other people singing karaoke?
Unclear.
Or was this Don truly calling for the mic?
It's crazy. I mean, it makes Ted Bishop look like a serious dude.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, going back to maybe our earlier discussion, if the U.S. is out there winning Ryder Cups, like, all of this stuff just kind of gets papered over. Yeah, some of the fan behavior stuff is too far, but man, when you're just getting your ass kicked, like, as an American, I think what fans want to know is, are we taking this serious every 2 years? Like what are we doing? I think that's a very fair question to ask.
I would also say that between LPGA, RNA, USGA, PGA Tour, virtually every organization in golf has relatively new leadership, and most would argue very much improved leadership or TBD. But looking optimistically at the TBDs, and the PGA of America is just sticking out more and more and more like a sore thumb
Yeah.
as everybody else gets more and more serious and has their shit together. And I think
Yeah.
like one of the other things that just blows me away is like there's so many really talented, like dynamic, exceptional club pros out there who are now GMs, directors of golf, hotel directors, all that stuff. Those guys, like where are those guys on the national board? Where are the Bob Fords and company? Instead, we have Don Ray manages a driving range and an executive course in the suburbs of like in Tempe, Arizona, or so. Like it's crazy, and it's like not to be like I think there's certainly a place for that, but it just doesn't seem like we're getting the best and the brightest on this level. And I don't know if the time commitment is too much if you are, at one of the higher profile clubs in America. I don't know if that's the case, but
Well, that's worth mentioning. It is a volunteer position, right? It's like an unpaid, basically like figurehead sort of
with
position,
like
which
the
is
biggest
again just
expense account in the world too.
kind of
Yeah.
stepping on a rake here of just
Because
being
that's
the
the other
main
thing.
character of golf Twitter is just not something you want to do, especially
Real.
especially when you're not getting
But
paid for it.
there's so many people like he wants to be out there being the mascot, and then Sprague gets up and has this really timid statement on Golf Channel, and then Don Reed just sends out this email to the 30, which I don't even know how many PGA pros there are. Is it
It's
31,000? Is it
fluctuating every
32,000?
time we're
We
doing
need
it
a
at BK.
33,000.
We need a
He sends out
census.
this email, and it's addressed only to them. It's pretty mealy mouthed. It doesn't really take accountability for stuff. Like it doesn't go to any other stakeholders, any of the fans who bought tickets, who got bilked, just all of it. The whole thing is incredible to me. And meanwhile, they're selling stuff on the realist again too, Deej.
You know what? I was looking at some of these. Some of these auctions are coming up here pretty soon. Just yeah, a lot of game used memorabilia. The realist you might remember from the PGA Championship selling like God, what were some of the stuff on there? It was like it's
Oh,
like a
the
Rake.
rake.
yeah,
Who was in contention at the
Johnny
PGA?
Vegas, I think.
Johnny Vegas,
Yeah.
the rake that yeah.
Yeah, a lot of that. And so there is stuff in this auction that I'm like, oh, that's kind of fun. It's like the actual hole, like the cup from like the 7th hole or something. But the auction was ending in like 4 hours and it was like $68. I was like, oh, I might actually buy that. That's kind of fun. But yeah, and then it was like it was next to all this like Katie Lang merch. I saw it was like
They're selling used range balls for $20.
I saw a Ryder Cup package signed by Miranda Lambert, which again I just had a kind of question nobody's really asking.
Left Freedom Ring, right?
I suppose. Yeah, guys, I don't know. I don't know where we go. I think
Meanwhile,
your point, TC, about like
It's
the
just
club
an
pros.
amateur. It just everything screams amateur, man. Just kind of bush league, especially as we see, to your point, the RNA, the USGA. Like it just the PGA of America clearly sits several notches down.
and meanwhile, their club pros, like the subtext of all of this is their club
Yeah.
pros are getting like their quality of life sucks. They're dropping out of the industry like crazy. They have no support, just generally speaking, from the national level. And I think the PGA Championship is turning into like by far the worst major. The gap's never been larger. They keep taking it to mediocre venues. I mean, heck, the PGA Championship's going to Aronimink next year. The director of golf at Aronimink, who's like a legendary guy, Jeff Kitty in the industry. He was National Club Pro of the Year. Like he's served with distinction. he's the one that Keegan berated during the rules fiasco on Sunday.
So when Justin Rose was getting a ruling, I believe, right, and it ended up taking too long, and Keegan kind of kept going back, again and again and again to say this is unfair. We need to get moving. Yeah, some pretty good. I forget who reported that. Was that Shupak as well? Maybe.
I'm seeing it from Andrew Gamble, but yeah, it could have been Shupak. I mean, and then the funniest part about that is it was a local rule that Keegan should have been aware of to begin with, was what was causing this ruling to be drawn out.
Which I think, moving towards kind of the end of our list here, it's like that was one of the things that really stuck out to me about, I know people are probably getting tired of all the Euro fluffing here, but the other thing that came out this week was that the Euros were basically prepared to just strike, essentially. Just like, we're not going to play another shot until we can guarantee that like the verbal abuse is going to stop. And there was a lot of reporting out there this week about how Luke Donald, the whole team, essentially, like, they had already talked about it. They had already established almost like a red line of, if it hits this point, like, we're going to stop. Is everybody cool with that? Let's talk about it now. What is our game plan if that happens? And I don't know. Again, it's just another indicator of, yeah, those guys kind of thought through all the elements of what was going to happen that week. And it just makes it a little easier to go show up and do your job when you feel like you're prepared in that way, it seems like. But
also, Keegan won the BMW championship at Aronimink.
It's true.
He's berating the club pro from that place.
It's just
crazy.
It's a weird one. I think the club pro
runs hot, man.
The club pro space is going to be, I think, something to watch the next couple years to see if there's any more fallout of this, if there's any other more like macro trends on how that part of the industry is moving. Because I think you're spot on, Tron. That's like a really, really, really is, in a lot of ways, in the right way, like in the right spots, still remains a massive pillar of the game, but is at risk of being just put through the meat grinder and churning out people out of the industry rather than creating like a kind of sustainable life and all of these kind of front door to golf type of people that really should continue to prop it up the same way that they did 30 years ago, and I thought Cody had a great point. I think he was just on Slack. I don't think he said it on the podcast, but some of the reinstated amateur stuff, he's like, man, a lot, like back in the day, a lot of those people just, you wouldn't have to get your amateur status back. Like, you just become a club pro and you get into the game that way, and you become a teacher, or you play in section events, and you kind of can still scratch that itch and stay in the industry. And it's just not an attractive life for a lot of people to get into. So it's, I don't know. I'm sure I'm talking out of school, and I'm sure we'll get a lot of feedback to that effect. But TC, how's your coup organizing going? Didn't you put out a call?
It's good. It's good. I got a bunch of people reaching out. I've had probably 50 emails, so a bunch of DMs. Yeah, and people just they see the Derek Rees and the Don Rees and the Susie Whaley's, just basically getting high on the hog, and I think advancing their own personal interests over those of the PGA of America. It's crazy to me. So I think plenty more to come on this. I think people are pissed, and rightfully so. And it should lead to some sort of action.
Yeah. Well, closing the book on Ryder Cup stuff. Should we move to Sand Valley, TC?
Please. I want to hear about, you guys have been playing, Randy, you're playing more golf in September and October than the rest of the year combined.
I know. It's been too much, TC, honestly. But somewhat the genesis for this, at the beginning of September, right after Labor Day, was part of a group trip to Sand Valley, not a work trip, and was my first time ever being there. So Deej, I know you've been up there. So yeah, you or TC, where do you guys want to start?
I guess super basic, very, very top level. If you're not familiar with what we're talking about, it's kind of the Bandon Dunes of Wisconsin, Dream Golf Resort up there in kind of the north central section of the state of Wisconsin. 4 golf courses open now, plus the short course, the Sandbox, the par 3 course. Sand Valley, Mammoth Dunes, the Lido, and Sedge Valley. with the 12-hole golf course, the Commons, set to come online next year. Already open for a little bit of preview play. I got to go out to the kind of half construction site, half grassed golf holes a couple weeks ago and played about 8 of the 12. So we can talk about that on the back end maybe. But Randy, I guess maybe start with what was your itinerary? Did you play them all? Did you touch them all while you were there?
We did. Yeah. We played everything once. So I flew into Madison, which TC Madison, great little airport. It was wonderful. And then we rented a car and drove, honestly, pretty easy drive, maybe a little over an hour and a half, somewhere in that 60 to 90 minute range, but scenic, not a stressful drive. And so on our arrival day, we actually got in like day 0. We didn't play any golf. We just got there that evening, had enough time. We went up to Craig's Porch, which is the one of the little food stands there overlooking. It's really where the Sand Valley, the golf course, goes out of, and then near the 18th green there. And they serve $1 tacos. The beers are $3. Like literally, that's one thing you just need to understand about Sand Valley. The food and bev prices once you're on site, and truly they could gouge you, right? You're in the middle of nowhere. The food and bev prices could be, I don't know, 3x of what they are, I think. And people be like, yeah, that seems like what it is now. So you just feel great that you're not getting taken advantage of from the moment you're on property. We had a beer, we had a taco, we enjoyed a sunset. And then the next day we started with the Lido.
Oh,
so we dove in, we went over and
right in
played
the deep
Lido.
End.
Yeah. And so our day 1 was the Lido, and then the Sandbox. Our day 2 was Mammoth in the morning, Sand Valley in the afternoon. And then our day 3, which was also our departure day, we played Sedge Valley, and then everybody took off for the airport and got home that evening. So, I mean, what is that? 3 nights, 4 days, 3 nights. You play every course. Like, you could certainly add another day and double up, but I thought it was a perfect itinerary. So I would encourage folks, give yourself enough time to do and see everything there at least once.
Where'd you stay?
The first night we stayed in like the lodge right there where you check in. And then starting the second night, so the second and third night, there were 8 of us, and we had a cabin. And so the cabins, there's kind of like a main central room. And then off of that are these little, like, essentially they're almost like hotel rooms, but they're standalone hotel rooms that have double beds. So we had, 2 on one side, 2 on the other side. Each one sleeps 2 guys. And then you have a main like TV room, and, there's a kitchen in there, a real hangout area.
Was it one of the ones with the fireplace in the middle and then out back? Like those cabins, I'm like, I want to knock my house down and just build this exact thing.
Yeah, I know.
They're so well done.
Great architecture. Everything's just the aesthetic right around the whole property kind of speaks to each other. It's really good.
What'd you think of Lido?
So I shout out Brendan Quinn. I read his piece in The Athletic about just the history of the Lido. Unequivocally, I love that the Lido exists. I love the history of it. I love that there's, as Brendan said, there's like this ghost ship in north central Wisconsin of this amazing golf course that used to sit on Long Island. I really, really, really dig that. It's hard. It's not an easy course, right? And it's a course where you go a little off property from the lodge at Sand Valley. It's a short shuttle ride. It's not very far at all, but you kind of go away from the main lodge. It's dry over there, so there is no alcohol allowed on the premises. There's no alcohol served on the golf course. I think that's a unique wrinkle.
Especially for Randy, who likes to get shit-faced while he plays.
I don't mind that at all. It's walking, and you take a caddy, and you're glad to have a caddy because you need some lines off of most of those tees. a lot of
Firm.
template holes, right? It's CB McDonald. It's, you know, it's every type of template that he and Seth Rayner have kind of now are famous for. Yeah, just tough greens. It's this big rectangular piece of property where you kind of play around the outside on the front nine, and then the back nine you're kind of like wrapping inside the property. But you can kind of see most of the course. You can see most of the people on the course, no matter where you are. It's Deej, I know you've played it. Like, it's funny because I think I left Sand Valley thinking like, man, if we had one more round, I think the Lido would be like fourth on my list out of the 4 courses. But at the same time, I again want to unequivocally state it's good, and I'm so glad it exists.
Yeah, I played it for the first time with Tron, actually. Was that last year or 2 years ago? I can't even remember.
I don't know.
Who could say? But yeah, we kind of just drove up and back for the day and played it. And that was last year because it was after the NLU Club Championship.
It was actually right after we did our trade.
That's right. The fantasy baseball trade that's still, you know, the ripples are still being felt.
Like a 14-player deal.
Yeah. Randy, I think I felt similarly after the first go around and have been lucky to play it, I think 2 or 3 times since. And each time I've played it since, like I will back up. The first time I played it, I think I was like, this feels super arbitrary, and there's just kind of stuff everywhere. And I don't know if I knew that stuff was there, I don't know if I'm good enough to avoid it. It still feels very kind of hit and hope and just kind of, you know, come what may, I guess. And hopefully you don't get some bad breaks and, you know, you can hit the big greens and maybe you make some putts. The second time around, I was like, oh no, wait, actually, hold on. This is way more fun than I think I was realizing. The third time around, I was like, this might be among the best, like most favorite courses I've ever played. And so it is a grower, I think, in a huge way, which I think is a massive compliment. I always find it to be a little tricky. We've said this about Bandon Dunes before too, but it's weird to have a golf course like that at a resort like that, which is kind of a, you know, there's local people that I know here who drive up and drive back, and they can maybe do a trip a year or once every 2 years or whatever. But for a lot of people, I mean, it's an expensive trip. It's hard to get to. You very well might only go there once in your life, if at all. And so it's a little strange to have a bucket list golf course be like, oh yeah, you just got to play it 10 times and then you'll get it, you know. Right. But it at the same time, it's like, well, man, that like really makes me want to go back and play it again.
Kind of what makes it a bucket list course too.
Totally. Right? Yeah. And I think the other cool thing about Sand Valley is it kind of speaks to, I think, what they have going on at Sand Valley just writ large, which is, man, they've got enough critical mass there now that if the Lido is not your thing, great. We've got 3.5, soon to be 4 other golf courses that are totally different and probably a little bit more what you're looking for, you know? And so I don't know if that takes you to like, or TC, anything else kind of from playing it that sticks out to you?
No, I think we had a pretty benign evening out there. Like it had rained earlier in the day, and so it was a little softer, but yeah, definitely felt like, holy shit, there's just stuff everywhere. But and Randy, I totally get what you're saying about it not being all that lovable. I think it like the scale is so big, and you just feel like you're in this massive clearing. And it's tough to get your bearings and all of that, but also like it felt like more of an exercise of the mind or of discipline. And it's at times it felt a little bit like a rich guy art project of like, yeah, this thing exists. You know, it's really cool that it exists. I'm happy that it exists. I don't like, maybe like, I really didn't want to dig too deep into the why, other than like, we can. But it's also like one of the most impressive engineering and architectural feats out there too, to Peter Flory and, you know, everybody who put in all the work to kind of uncover the plans and then make them truly a reality. But yeah, like I get your point though of like, I've been to Sand Valley one other time and I had a blast playing those other golf courses.
That's what I was going to say.
And I didn't feel like I had a blast. Like, it doesn't feel like a buddy's trip golf course. It feels like, hey, I want to go grind out here for 3 days kind of thing.
And that's the thing, like playing the Lido with the wind and the variability. You don't know if your ball is going to end up in that bunker you didn't see, or if you're going to catch a good lie in kind of the longer grass if you miss a fairway. Like, you just feel on edge for most of the round around the Lido. And Deej, to your point, I can certainly see where if you were playing that course weekly, once a week, let's say, or, as you get more reps, you certainly would get a bit more comfortable. That totally makes sense.
Well, I would never get bored out there, and ever. Between wind and pins and tee, there's like infinite options.
And I think that speaks to the kind of the membership model of it too. Not that this is going to make anybody who didn't love it feel any more warm and fuzzy, but it is a little bit more of a members club, whereas Sand Valley, like the rest of the golf courses at Sand Valley, are part of the resort. It is totally open to the public. Come book your tee time. The Lido has a little more restriction on it. There's members of the Lido. There's people who bought houses, near the golf course, who spend their whole summers up there. Public play is not every day, so it's a little harder to get on. So it's just a little different setup, and I think, I understand why they did it that way.
Yeah.
I think on the complete flip side, Mammoth Dunes, I don't know if you want to talk about that next, but that is, a much, it sounds pejorative to say like a much easier golf
Andy
course,
hated it.
But it's just,
Andy hated it. He said it was too easy.
It's designed to be as much fun as I think you can have.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And it's the type of course where if you're hitting the ball well and you're in control of your distances and where the ball is going, you are going to have a lot of birdie putts. And that's by design, right? All the slopes around the greens, they all kind of bring the ball back towards the green surface, towards flags, instead of repelling away. And it's a David McClay kid. It's got it feels big, right? It's got some scale to it. It's still walkable. We walked it. In my personal golf, I feel like I maybe said this in my personal golf, but the best way I could kind of place Mammoth would be, if you've ever played sports like whatever, varsity sports, right? And you're going up against the JV or the scout team sometimes, and their job is to give you the look of what your opponent's going to give you. But they're playing a little bit of dummy defense, right? They're not as active reaching for the ball. I'm using basketball terms here.
Randy's going to
They're not out in passing lanes necessarily. They're not playing the play, if you will. Like, that's how I felt going around Mammoth Dunes, was like, oh yeah, you're kind of giving me the stock look here. And I know if I kind of hit this well, I'm going to get some help from that slope. It just is very comfortable. And I think, Deej, to your point, I think it complements the Lido spectacularly in that, you could go out to the Lido and get your ass kicked. Well, you can go out to Mammoth and feel really, really good about your game, which is a great kind of ends of the spectrum for one single golf resort.
I've also seen Randy's going to get mad at little freshman kids D'ing him up too hard or taking a charge.
That's right. Like, we're not doing that here today. The game's Friday night. It's not Thursday afternoon. Get out of my space.
I've also seen a lot of people kind of glitch out when you get that reputation now where enough people are just like, oh dude, you're gonna shoot the lowest round of your life when you go out there. People just
like there in Gamble Sands, right?
But I've seen people, like, some people very well do, and some people just grip the bat too tight and get out there and just, like, just shoot a million. Then it just makes it even worse because you're supposed to score well. It's a very funny. I don't know. I love Mammoth Dunes. It's just a very fun.
Dude, I feel like it's playing Chutes and Ladders.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where you kind of like unlock this, and yeah, exactly.
Like, I've only played it once. We did a video on it, and me and Ben and Cody and Solly. And I think between the four of us, we made like 26 birdies and 3 eagles that day. But like, we had this epic match, and like, we couldn't wipe the smile off our face at the end, and we still had to hit the shots. And it was definitely more like, hey, let's play a match between the two of us. And it was like, you truly it was like playing offense. It was like playing Air Raid Big 12, mid 2000s football. You know, like
That's
Mike
yes.
Leach is hanging 65 on him every Saturday.
Like us mid cap, high cap golfers, like we don't get that feeling of like going after it very often, and Mammoth can give you that, and that's it's fun. It's intoxicating, honestly.
Well, we're going kind of a weird order here, but let's go to Sand Valley next. The first golf course built at the resort, Corn Crenshaw Golf Course, kind of a hybrid of the two things that I think we're talking about, maybe. But what was your impression of Sand Valley?
I think Sand Valley is just so handsome. I think it's a great representation of Coore and Crenshaw and what they do. This was the golf course. I said Lido, if I had one more round on my trip, the Lido probably would have been fourth in my wish list. Sand Valley would have been first. Like it is, to me, the perfect mix of, it's going to require some really good shots. You're going to have to think about, do I want to go after that flag? Where can I miss this? Without being like overly penalizing or overly severe. I just, it's a lovely walk. The cut of the greens, the bunkering, like it's just really good. I came away very, very enamored, I guess, with Sand Valley, the golf course.
What's that short par 4? I think it's on the front, kind of up into that little corner.
9, right?
Oh, that's such a
9. Yeah, it's funny because like 1's kind of a short 4. Also,
yeah.
it's like you
And
bookend
2's got
that.
a crazy green.
Mm-hmm.
But 9, I just think about that hole pretty often. Of like, that's a really
Such a good green,
striking, stunning hole.
Then you have the short par 3 right after it. It's just I'm with you, Randy. It's just a kind of the way it's supposed to look. It's very challenging. If you are not playing well, there's plenty of spots to trip yourself up. But if you've got any control of your golf ball, it's going to be just the most peaceful kind of delightful day you can have. So I love it.
Yeah, it's and the wind can blow out there. I think I shot 84 maybe, which I was pleased with. I thought I battled. I don't know. I come back to like, it just seems like fully realized as a golf course, and I really dug it.
There's some teeth there too. Like there's some greens that are a little bit pushed up where it really makes distance control a thing. Like you got to fly it up there. You got to hit the proper shot. Randy, question for you. Are you Moon Man or Spotted Cow?
Spotted Cow. I'm a Spotted Cow guy. Yeah. Had plenty of those, TC.
I love
and again, it feels like they're giving them away. Like it's incredible. Where are you buying a $3 beer these days? Anywhere, it's unbelievable.
Just like make it expensive for me to get in the door. That's
Right.
Totally fine. And then once I'm there, put me at ease.
Yes.
Yeah. There's nothing worse than feeling like you're just getting kind of jobbed the whole time. That was a little bit. I haven't been to Stream Song in a very, very long time, but that was. I remember my impression there was just like, you can't go anywhere else for food. You're stuck here. Would you like a $60 steak? I'm like, I just kind of want like a turkey sandwich.
You're like,
I want a buffalo chicken wrap.
Yeah.
I want you to stop sticking your hand in my pocket.
Yeah.
All right.
Which I'm sure that's changed a little bit now.
I would be really curious to know, like, I need to go back to Stream Song because Kemper's taking it over from a management perspective, and I'm curious to see if that ethos has changed.
Yeah.
I think, I'm just thinking like Bandon Trails. I would guess, I haven't played all the Coore Crenshaws, but I'm guessing a lot of people know Bandon Trails. I think Sand Valley is pretty close to that for me. I don't think it quite has that like tunnel of trees. It doesn't quite hit on every hole, just like the surrounding beauty of trails. But again, I think Sand Valley is pretty magnificent.
One of the things that I felt when I left Sand Valley was, man, I didn't really miss the ocean because it helped me focus more on the golf. That makes sense.
It does make sense. I know what you mean. Yeah, it's just a different experience. I mean, it's the golf plays, not exactly the same as being out, in Bandon,
Yeah.
but it's like it plays firm and fast, and you can use the ground, and you can lock in and hit all those similar shots. But yeah, it's less kind of pulling your phone out and let's take a photo of this and let's gotta see this over here, which, I mean, it's hard to beat being on the ocean, certainly, but
Oh, yeah.
the commute,
Like, they're
at
both
least
great.
from it's nice if you're anywhere close, in the Midwest or can get to Madison easily or whatever. It's like it's a lot of the experience. You're not missing out on the whole thing just because the ocean's not there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it's not sensory overload, and I think like I've only been twice, but I think the agronomy's been better both times I've been to Sand Valley versus Bandon,
It's
which
really
I'm
good.
sure makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense not being next to the ocean, and Oregon's got some pretty crazy weather up there.
Yeah. Well, the last course, the most recent one that opened, Sedge Valley, Tom Doak, par 68, I think. I am fascinated to hear what you thought of
I am too.
Sedge. It's a little it's weird. It's a little shorter from like a scorecard perspective, just because it's a par 68. So I feel like it lulls you into a little false sense of security that it's going to be some little miniature thing. That's not the case. But at the same time, there's a lot of half pars. It's
Yeah.
designed to be. I think Doak keeps pointing back to like some of the Heathland golf courses. It's supposed to be much more like what you'd see, in the kind of just outside London suburbs. I love this golf course. I loved it the first time I played it. I was a million thumbs up since in
Yeah.
the couple times I've been lucky enough to see it. So yeah, Randy, what were your thoughts on Sedge?
I'm like you, man. I freaking loved it. This was the course that you want to talk about, like what would be your everyday course. Like, it's Sedge Valley. The walk is just great. Like you said, half par holes out the wazoo. So, it could be a par five. Well, there's one par five on the scorecard. It kind of feels like a 4.5. There are some fours that feel like 3.5s, and quite honestly, there are a couple of fours that feel like 4.5s. And I think it just has charm. It doesn't feel, and this is, I think, one of Sand Valley's best attributes is these four golf courses are really pretty distinct from one another. And I think, to my experience, they're like the most distinct collection of courses at the same resort.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool. And I think Sedge Valley is really distinct in that Doak is, like you said, going after that like England, Heathland feel. It just, yeah, you're hitting every club in the bag. I mean, I'm looking at the scorecard from the back tees. It's a little over 5,800 yards, par 68, right? It's par 33 on the front, 35 coming in. But it's not like an executive course where you're just hitting driver wedge over and over again. You really have to think. The greens are thoughtful. It's not just hit it to the center and you're going to have a pretty straightforward birdie look. You got to really place the golf ball. It's great. Yeah. The highest compliment, honestly, would be, man, this would be the course. If it were down the street from me, I would play a ton of golf. I would just go out and walk and enjoy the game. Really.
It's the thing that I'm always struck by, outside of a couple of, was that number 3, I think, is the long par 4 with kind of the punch bullish type of
From the
green.
back tees. Yeah, exactly.
That is like, you get out and you play 1 and 2 and you're kind of out and back, and they're a little driver wedge, and you're like, okay, this is, what are we in for here? And then you play 3 and it's
Deej,
like,
is this the one that you sent the picture of with
no,
where the
that one is
okay.
stick. That's the par 3 on the
Okay.
back. But you play the third hole and all of a sudden you're standing in the fairway and it's like, oh, I got a 6-iron into this green. Whoa, okay. The time I gotta buckle up. Outside of a couple of those long par 4s, I mean, I'm convinced that it's the type of place you would play better if you just could have enough discipline to hit a 6-iron off of every tee. All of those, but of course you don't, because it's no fun, and you want to, like, it just gives you all the rope to hang yourself. And some of those, and it's almost like the worst thing you can do. I remember the first time I played it, I'm going to get some of the hole numbers wrong, but you get out to that point where you have the downhill par 3, which I think is number 5. And then I think you have the short par 4, which is number 6, I think, or that's 6, 7, or whatever those numbers are.
Let me look.
but the first like very short par 4, it only played 260 or something.
That's number 6.
Yeah,
which is sandwiched between the 2 par 3s.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember that one shot I hit like just kind of like a choked up driver that just flew to the right spot, ran up on the green. I had like a 15 footer for eagle and 2 putted for birdie. And I remember that almost like ruining my day, because then it was like, okay, every time I got to another one of those half par holes, I was like, yeah, I'm just going to ship it here too. And I just made double after double after double. And it's really fun because you just look back on it. You're like, God, I just didn't need to do that, man. It's Tron, I'd be fascinated with like how well you drive the ball. I think you'd put up a very good number there. But
It sounds like a
really
video.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to. We need to get out there.
It's a course that, you know, I don't do this often, but it is a course like that's screaming for that Sunday dog set.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
Where you take half your irons out, you know, you take one of your wedges out, like just take 7 clubs out there, a little carry bag. Like that's the type of golf it is set up to provide, really.
Yeah.
That'd be fascinating. Like play 2 balls, play one smart and one fun.
Totally. See how the 2 scores stack
and
up.
Add them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great, man. They've got an awesome thing going there. I just the pro Ryan is a buddy of mine and a great guy and listener to the podcast. Shout out to Ryan if he's listening. But
I met Ryan.
You met Ryan.
Very nice
great guy.
Yes.
But yeah, talking to him a little bit, it's like a lot of these trips, you know, you have your set itineraries and there's a lot of people who are like, oh, we're playing here in the afternoon, we're playing there, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of people that end up with one extra round, you know, like, oh, we'll play Mammoth twice or we'll play whatever twice. And he's like, there have been so many people in these first couple of years that have played Sedge once and like come back into the shop and be like, hey, can we change the itinerary around a little bit so we can go play that again? And it's just, I don't know if the expectation, like par 68, maybe it just sneaks up on people.
Well, I think if you just look at the scorecard, you're like, because after 5,800, there are a few holes where the back tee and the one up tee are like, there's a very big gap between them. So it goes from like 5,800, which is the back tee, and then the middle tee is like 4,700, and you can play a combo of those two at like 52. But I truly think it's a lot of people probably just look at the scorecard and think like, is this like a pitch and putt? Is this like, but it's really good.
Randy, how do you square that with your real golf? Like, how do you feel about the sandbox?
Well, this is where
Can you tell everybody how hard it is? Please?
The sandbox is hard. Yeah.
It is.
We didn't play our own ball around the sandbox. We did like, you know, the 8-man skins game, whatever.
Your skin must have been crawling.
Randy's got no shoes on. He's just drinking beers while he's out there.
But TC, here's what I'll tell you. Here's how I square it is Sedge Valley. They have a slope and a rating from every tee box possibility on the scorecard. And so, you know, it honestly, it was like going to play Cullen, where it's like, I don't mind if the course is shorter. I just want to be able to play real golf and post a score. And that's check and check at Sedge. Like, you know, I'm going to hit cups and I'm going to post my score.
Yeah.
You got to be able to post your score. That's your ultimate.
That's my North Star. Yeah.
Okay.
And I unpacked a little of that with DJ in Milwaukee.
I like it. I liked what you were saying on the personal golf spotlight episode too, about the USGA. If you're listening, you gotta add a little journal section to the Gin app. I think that's a really good idea, because like,
who'd I play with? Could I upload like a picture or two to it? Yeah,
I think that's a great call.
And I don't know if we were going to get there or not, but I just wanted to shout out Sand Valley. I did not do they are like a surprising hub of racket sports a little bit, and I just wanted to call that out, because if I do go back to Sand Valley, they have 8 outdoor grass tennis courts. TC, I don't know if you've ever played on grass tennis courts. I have not. I would love to go back and do that. But what I really think is cool, and it's right by Sedge, the Sedge clubhouse, is their like tennis facility, their locker room. Inside there, they have a court tennis facility. And I would encourage people to like Google court tennis. It is like, I'm still learning about it, but it is the oldest racket sport. It goes back like 900 years. it's like indoor. It's not. It doesn't look like tennis at all, except there's a ball, a racket, and a net. It's not like racquetball. It's really strange. But they have this court tennis facility, which I think is like one of the few in the country outside of New York or the Northeast. And I really, really want to do that. So if we're talking video, we got to include some tennis if we go back to Sand Valley.
Did you,
Randy? I guess
did you get to talk to
the ultimate
Tennis
question.
Pro at all that was in there?
I did.
Yeah.
I popped my head in because they sell their
guy.
own merch too.
Yeah.
It's this elephant that's like in a tennis outfit with a little racket. So I bought a couple things from the tennis shop, and I was just chatting with him, and he says it's great. He says that the tennis activity has steadily grown each year since they've opened. He was kind of explaining a little bit of the court tennis stuff to me. Nice kid. I really, really want to go back and try that.
I'm assuming since it's a proper racket sports facility that they don't have pickleball.
They do not have pickleball, TC. That's exactly right. I saw 0 pickleball courts. Thank God.
I've always wanted to go up for their hockey thing too. I mean,
Yeah.
I know I'd get my doors blown off, but I love playing pond hockey, just any hockey.
Yeah, I think it would be I've talked to Justine about that. I think it'd be a great winter. Again, if
Like
you're
treat.
if you're in the state and you can drive there, I know probably someone flying from somewhere to go in the ice cold winter with no mountains is maybe not their thing, but yeah, getting out and cross country skiing or ice skating or doing all that, and then just going back and staying in a cool cabin and having a great dinner, and yeah,
they have good chefs that come in and
worse things you can do in your time than that. That's for sure.
Exactly. Randy, what's your 10-round split?
Between all 4 of them.
Yeah. Between all 4 of them.
I think right now, and again, caveats, I've been there once, I've played each of them once. I think I would land at 3-3-2-2. I think I would go 3 Sand Valley, 3 Sedge, 2 Mammoth, 2 Lido.
About as well balanced as you can get.
Yeah.
Right
yeah.
there.
That is good.
Deej, what's yours?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think I would go. Man, it's hard not to get overzealous on the Sedge thing, but I do really like it. I might go. I'd probably go 3-3-2-2 as well, but it would be 3 Sedge, 3 Lido, and then 2 at each of the original ones, Sand Valley and Mammoth.
Sedge is such a good arrival and departure day course. If you're getting in and you have time for one, or if you're like we did, we had a morning round and then we were getting to the airport to fly out that afternoon. Sedge is wonderful for that.
Well, I think that last thing on Sand Valley, we can move on, but I think that speaks to what the Commons is going to be as well, which is another course they're opening next year. Like I mentioned, Jim Craig golf course, 12 holes. I think that I don't know why I had this in my head, but I had in my head that 12 holes, it's called the Commons. Like this is going to be some like kids golf course or something, which would be fine. I just pictured it being like the Cradle or something like that. Just kind of a run around and play to whatever hole or whatever. It is not that at all. It is 12 like real golf,
real golf,
very much real golf holes. And they have kind of this like man-made lake that the last 3 holes kind of weave through and around, and it is like it's going to be some of the most provocative holes on the entire resort. It's awesome. It's turned up to a loud volume, especially there's a Redan. I think I played them all out of order, but I think it's gonna be the 11th hole is gonna be this almost like kind of,
is that where the water's like really
Redan?
prominently
Yeah,
involved?
exactly. That if you a Redan kind of kicks from high right to low left, and at this one it kind of just like rides the quote unquote coast of this pond lake thing, and so it's like if you miss the green left, like I think your ball's just going to roll right into their bunker basically just runs right into the water. So it's kind of almost I don't know.
It's like Bay Hill was.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, 17 at Bay Hill. It's gonna be really, really cool, and just some crazy greens, really cool par 3s. Yeah,
It's got that massive sand
like
formation mound thing too.
Yeah,
right?
just a big just a big ass pile of sand that I don't know if that's what they dug out of the lake, I would imagine. But yeah, that all kind of frames like the first hole. There's just a big, I don't know how else to describe it. If anybody has been
It's a
there,
massive. You
the
can see it
big
from
ass
other courses
pile of sand.
all over the property.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so I don't know if they're gonna turn that into something. If you'd have like a tow rope that you could kind of sled or ski or tube down or something, but yeah, it's just a big ass pile of sand. I don't know what they're
Huh.
gonna do with it.
Big ass pile of sand.
Yeah.
Randy, any senses stick out of the 5 senses when you're out there?
The food's good, man. The food really is good. They over by the sandbox, they have a little barbecue kind of truck. I did not eat that, but it certainly smelled
It's
good, looked
delicious.
good.
Yeah.
And the other one I did not eat in. There's a by Sedge in the tennis facility. There's a place called the Gallery that I think is a little like nicer dining option. We did not eat there. So where I did eat, Mammoth Bar, I think it's called, just kind of the main bar in the main lodge. Great, everything you need, nothing you don't. Cold beer, good kind of bar food. But then Aldo's, I really enjoyed. I went there for breakfast each morning, and then we had one nice meal at Aldo's. I had a great. What did I have? I had a nice chicken. It really good and comfortable beds. I mean, honestly, and this is what I tell people about, like, I mean, shout out like Dream Golf. Like, they just get the details right, man. It's good. You can count on it. The service, the attention, the details, like it's quite good.
Maybe Mike and Chris Kaiser should be Ryder Cup captains.
I
You know,
really,
kind of
yeah.
point of the proceedings we're in. I'd kind of listen to that conversation.
There would be a lot worse choices. Yeah.
Well, listen, while we're on the topic of Wisconsin golf, I feel like we got to throw in. Randy got to play Lasonia last week for the first time as well. We have our kind of annual buddies trip, which we did in the greater Milwaukee area this past week, but got to go up and see Lasonia, which is a place I don't think we've really talked about on the podcast very much.
Did you play both courses?
Just the links, just up and back.
Yeah,
I still never played the Woodland course. Unfortunately, I know it sounds like there's quite a disparity between the two. I know the links gets all the acclaim for a reason, but the Woodlands looks cool. It looks tight. It looks very antithetical to the links, but yeah, probably the reason I like the links is you can kind of hit it wherever off the tee. So I like that. But any Lasonia thoughts from you, big guy?
Yeah, I well worth the hour and 45-minute drive from Milwaukee. Just cool holes, man. I feel so bad. Like, God, how can I describe this in detail? It's such a fun place. And DJ, I'm going to give you full credit, but it feels like the type of place that's a melting pot between people that are like super into golf architecture and like really get off on, oh my God, man, they pushed up this green with a steam shovel in the 1920s. And then like a lot of local people that might be out there in like untucked shirt and, just don't even quite realize what this golf course is. It's just the one that's near them. And I dig that vibe greatly. Some blind shots, especially to start. I would say Lasonia is, and it's a low-key big walk, especially getting out there on the back nine. You're kind of trudging uphill a few different times. Just big scale. But yeah, like really fun, interesting, unique, quirky golf holes that will test you. The conditioning was really good. I don't know. Deej, help me here. Like, how else do you just say, like, yeah, you should go if you have a chance, if you're in the area, like definitely, I think it's worth it.
I think the last couple of times I've been there, it's been like late summer or this type of the fall where it's like, man, it hasn't rained in a couple weeks and the ball, it just bounces out there. I mean, some of the tee shots, you can just see them bouncing 20 feet in the air. And it's just like that to me is kind of the, why do you make the hour 45-minute drive? It's like, well, yeah, the greens are cool and it's a great value and all that, but it's like, man, that you just don't get to play that a lot in kind of Midwestern public golf. And so I love seeing that as much as we can. But We had it. TC, this is listen, I know nobody likes to hear the blow by blow of other people's golf rounds.
Oh, I want to hear it.
We have so we have this trip that we've done the last 3 years, and it's there's 4 of us. It's me and our buddy Nick versus Randy and our guy Big T from the Oscars pod, Tim. And we had this scenario. It's always a 3-day event. It's always the same teams. And we did 18 holes of 4-ball at Lasonia, and we played 36 holes at Wisconsin Country Club where I play.
Which DJ's course is really
he
great.
sleeps on it. It's so fun.
It's really
such a good piece of land.
Yeah.
And they keep doing like the just little incremental improvements of like, hey, we're gonna add some short grass over here, or hey, we're gonna add this little wing of this green. It's interesting greens. It's
like
crazy
challenging.
Cool shit on the back.
There's some gettable stuff. The greens, there's a lot going on. It's really good. But anyway, Deej, go ahead.
They're also pushing memberships hard, so we gotta cut this part out because I'm trying to get out there and play as much as I can. But 18 holes of 4-ball, 18 holes of Scotch foursomes, like modified alt shot, and then 18 holes of singles. I've never seen anything like this, TC. It came down to both singles matches, last hole, last day. Our guy Big T cashes like a 20-footer that just unlocks this apocalyptic scenario where all of a sudden now I have a 12-footer to win the week, which I just missed. Randy has a 10-footer to win the week, barely misses, and our guy Nick has like a 9-footer to win the week, cashes it. Me and Nick claim our first victory ever. Massive moment. But it's all set up.
Didn't Big T make like a 50-footer in the past?
No, he catastrophically
he hit 150 feet on like a 30-footer.
Yeah, it was just complete blackout from him. But all of it was set up, and I hate to air you out, Randy. We get to 18, and Randy doesn't wait for Nick to mark his ball.
But can you give a little bit more context? We were like an hour behind pace. We had let 3 groups through. We're like grinding on the back 9 of these singles matches. There's a guy behind us, a single in the fairway. I think the sun had just set, maybe.
He had just caught us, by the way. He was not waiting for any haters.
No, he wasn't waiting. That guy wasn't waiting. But I'm still like, oh my God, like, let me just go. Nick's like had just hit this kind of flop shot up on the green, but it's off. He's got this long walk. I'm like, my putt, I shouldn't hit his ball. Like, let's just get on with it. I hit my putt from the fringe, and it directly hits Nick's ball. Like, dead hits it, stops immediately. And so it leaves us, like, Nick and I both then have the same exact putt where obviously I went first, mine missed, and then he cashed his to win. But
it's karma.
Randy,
it's the golf gods.
Set up just an unbelievable read. I mean, it was crazy.
That's not playing the game the right way, Randy.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Penalty.
And the lesson was learned, T, so you can believe that.
How did Nick celebrate? Because Nick's like one of the driest, funniest humans I've ever met.
I think he was just soaking up the moment. I think he embraced the gravity of the moment. He knew the trophies were coming home with the boys. I think he had put me on his back. It was just it was a pretty earnest celebration from the guys. We needed one. We needed one back.
And then he went and had a Fernet.
Ass kicked. Yeah, Fernet and a Diet Coke.
Yeah. In the DC.
Yeah, exactly. But great week in Milwaukee having those guys here. But TC, what did you play your club championship this week?
Oh, last week. It was bad. It didn't go well. So the night before, I was gonna get a big practice session in before. Like, I was gonna go up there like an hour and a half before and hit balls, go to the backside of the range, do the whole deal. And I've been struggling with my spin rates on my driver, so I adjusted my hosel setting back to just like stand. I just took a little loft off my driver, same setting otherwise. And then I adjusted my 3-wood and my 5-wood as well. And all those were great. Like, I didn't get to practice them, so I rolled up to the first tee because I thought my tee time was at like 11:20. My tee time was at like 10 or like 10:15. So I legitimately just set my bag down on the range, and they're like, "Yo, what are you doing? You're on the tee." I'm like, "I'm on the tee. What the fuck are you talking about?" So I get to the first tee, 3-putt the first hole, for bogey. We're playing on the Lagoon course for the first round. This is our little shorter, like 5,800 yard course. It's a much harder golf course, in my opinion.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
rated a lot easier. It's not. And the wind was blowing, the rough is up, the greens are spicy. The second hole is a drivable par 4. The first 3 holes are kind of funky, and then you really get into it after that. Second hole, drivable par 4. I put it in the left greenside bunker. Great spot. I get up there. I don't have 2 of my wedges in my bag because I took the kids to the driving range like 2 nights before, just to the chipping green 2 nights before, and we're just putting around. So I don't have my 58-degree wedge. I don't have my 54-degree wedge.
Better not miss any greens.
And like that's all Lagoon is. So like the entire day, I just had like 60 to 75 yards in.
Oh,
And I'm hitting him with like a 48-degree wedge. Putted very poorly. Ended up doing like all the hard stuff really well, and then just missed a lot of putts. And then just not my day. And then next day, putted a lot better, but just couldn't hit my irons. And you know what? I drove the ball great. I feel like the new hosel settings, perfect. Everything fit. But
Maybe lost the
between
battle,
that,
but won the war.
Yeah. Between that and just, I don't know. I just need to get it back. I feel like I kind of lost the magic I had going.
I know,
this
God,
summer.
you were playing good golf this summer. Well, you're just getting into golf season now and down there.
I am just getting
Jacksonville.
into golf season. I got our friend Greg.
Yeah.
Greg McCrae from the mayor of Erin. He's coming over. I think we're gonna go over to Hyde Park on Thursday.
Yeah. Randy,
And then
see
we're
if you
gonna
can
play.
swing down after you go through Green Bay.
great bones. Yeah, if you got an extra one, TC, let me know.
Everybody's been saying it's in great shape right now.
Oh God,
So
I'm coming down in a couple weeks. TC and I are gonna play Hyde Park. I can't wait.
I'll scout it out, and then so we're gonna play, and then hopefully going over to London here in a couple weeks and play some Heathland stuff over there too. So more to come on that front. And then I just had this crazy dream that Brooks Koepka and I were riding around on the Shinkansen, the Japanese bullet train, all over the country to all these different restaurants, and they were serving us like Wagyu, like Kobe beef Wagyu steaks on the train itself as well. And Brooks just kept saying, "It's from Japan, boss. It's from Japan, boss." It all relates back to this highly specific Instagram or Twitter post that he threw this picture of like a charred steak up in a really nice bottle of Bordeaux, and somebody commented on it, and then he just responded, "It's from Japan, boss."
From Japan, boss.
Gosh. Well, yeah. Hopefully, you guys had a good time. Got to play some golf while you were there.
I think I've been at home for too long. I've been home for the last month. I just need to get back out on the road.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I think that's gonna be the end of the line here, so to speak. But a lot to cover today. Randy, great hearing about the Sand Valley trip. Congrats to all things involved in the Sanderson. I didn't think we were gonna go 2 hours, but here we are. I think as far as looking ahead, we got a fun one coming out this week. A video that I think we started calling as a joke. We started calling it the Influencer Tour, and I think we're just going to call it the Influencer Tour. So look for that video on the YouTube channel this week. This was Neil and I just kind of road tripping through the greater New England area, stopping at a couple golf courses, doing some influencer things with our friends at Titleist, and it was just it's one of my favorite trips of the year. It was really, really great. So that video will come out this week, but other than that, we've got another Ryder Cup pod that's going to come out this week. Neil is going to take the lead on that one with our sound mixer, audio producer, Charlie Van Kirk. They captured a ton of audio while they were out at the Ryder Cup, and so
I can't wait for this one.
We are spinning that up into what should be a pretty fun, pretty interesting podcast. So look for that this week. And other than that, guys, business as usual, I think.
Teamsters and ball knowers this week.
That's right.
So many sports to talk about.
I know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I think
sorry your Yankees aren't looking great, TC, in the early going.
Yeah. The Eagles, lot to discuss there, Randy. The knowers potentially, early on a take there.
But it was dead set correct, and it's always been correct.
Diet Baw or Baw Zero, I should say.
Sugar-free Baw.
a
Ball
Reds
Heavy
loss.
took a tough one today too.
Yeah, a Reds loss, and then the Brewers.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, got
Brewers,
to go to
a
game
lot going on
1,
there.
man. Holy smokes, what a range of emotions from that Michael
Yeah.
Busch leadoff home run to a 6-run first inning, 3-run second inning. Just Randy, American Family Insurance Park, as you like to call it, was
Buzzing.
was coming apart at the screws yesterday. So yeah, another big one as you're listening to this on Monday. So guys, great time. Great chatting with you. Thank you to everybody for listening. Thanks to our friends at Footjoy, our friends at the Stack. And we'll catch everybody next time. Cheers.
Crack on.